Jorge, with that, if you want to upload your slides, there you go, and I will turn it over to you. Thank you. And you are on mute. There you go.
Perfect, Kim. Thank you so much for that. So good morning, everyone. We're very happy to have all of our members and friends on our board here today to join us. I want to start by thanking my board, and a very special thanks to those retiring members such as Joe Swikos, who hired me 3 years ago to lead GCOOS, and Bill Lynch, and Alisa Dausman as well. I'm very appreciative of the service that they provided to GCOOS, and we're looking forward to start working with our 3 new members at the GCOOS board. I also want to thank my staff, who nothing of what I'm going to be showing you today would be possible without the work that all of them lead at GCOOS. I will start by sharing with you our new member updates. We do have a number of additional new members from the past meeting today. So that's from May today. The last 6 months, we added a number of new voting members, including several members from Mexico representing their institutions, and new individual members or those who have changed their affiliations. We also have new staff at GCOOS over the past 6 months. We added our new GIS manager, that's Gerard King, who graduated from Texas A&M and stayed with us at Texas A&M, leading our enterprise GIS operations. And Dr. Renata Kamakura, she's our new National Academies Policy Fellow. She joined GCOOS a couple of months ago, and she is working on our new marine heat waves project that I'm going to show more information with you in a few minutes. On the data portal side, I choose to share with you the updates and the kind of the milestones that we've reached with our NTL current data, offshore current data project that is led by Felimon Gajanilo at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. This project is now 7 terabytes data for the entire project's life at GCOOS, and just in August, really broke a record of 500 million observations of ocean currents with additional water temperature and other observations that some of these stations mounted and offshore rigs sent to us at GCOOS. This is a very important project in which we serve the offshore energy industry and other offshore industries that they need to have awareness of the conditions of the oceans. And we have the privilege in the Gulf of Mexico to really have these platforms to be able to provide this information. There's, in the last 6 months, about 9 new stations being added to this project. And Felimon continuously keeps improving the project and working on the number of challenges that this project really poses to us, because it's about 40 individual or more providers, operators offshore, that they work with Felimon and his team in Corpus Christi. I'll also share that this hurricane season, that it's not over, as we all know. It has also been a very productive season for us in developing water column profiles with the glider program that we manage. We've had a number of, we keep having our operators in the Gulf of Mexico developing a number of missions sponsored by GCOOS, but also the one that we do in collaboration with the U.S. Navy. And in not only that, but we every year we have a number of additional collaborated and contributed data sets from other surveys conducted by other operators, such as University of Louisiana Lafayette and Dr. Natalia Sireskova, who has contributed data this year to also the environmental modeling services of NOAA to be running models. Tomo, our biological data manager, he also continues to work in a large number of biological projects that we have been maintaining for many, many years, and continue updating those databases, adding new projects, and overall growing our body of work on biological data mobilization that we keep at GCOOS. I'll show you additional projects that we've added over the past couple of years in a few minutes. Bob Curry and Xiao, our 2 data product developers and data managers, they also had been very busy over the past year or so planning and now executing a new remodeling plan for Gandalf, what we call Gandalf 2.0. Gandalf is our autonomous vehicle piloting platform that our glider pilots use, but also other pilots and other platforms uses as well. Both of them have been really, really busy since UG2 early this summer, working on a workshop that was put together to understand stakeholder requests for enhancements to Gandalf. And that has turned to be a very successful story. They have a lot of information gained from that event. And now they're working on implementing some of those changes. One of the main ones that will change is that the whole front end of Gandalf will turn to be now an ArcGIS enterprise operation and front end and visualization type, moving in that direction too, so we can add more information on environmental data and other type of information needed by the pilots to make decisions in their plans. So Xiao and Bob, they have a timeline that release a test of the new 2.0 version by the spring this year, and then later in the summer, a full release of the new version of Gandalf with the new platform that I mentioned. On the GCOOS Gulf of Mexico Coastal Acidification Network, GCAN, that we work with many of you as well, that's led by Jen Brinland. And we're having a change also in the leadership, and Kim Yates, since she's becoming our new chair at the board of GCOOS, she's leaving that position, and the steering committee and the working group of GCAN had selected Dr. Ximping Hu to be the new chair, starting in early 2025, so early next year. Ximping, a long-term collaboration of GCOOS and a very appreciated fellow. I mean, he will start leading GCAN with many of you. One of the activities performed by GCAN this year has been the organization of a joint webinar series together with Secora, in which we provided presentations that they were in the intersection and across the MBON program, which is the Biodiversity Observation Network, and the Ocean Acidification Networks of our regional associations, with a number of speakers, not just from the US, but also from neighboring Mexico fellows. And so that was a very successful webinar series that we were able to provide this year. Many of you might remember who joined our meeting in May this spring, that we had a large conversation about marine heat waves that really started last year at the fall meeting about a year ago, at the fall meeting of GCOOS, and has been now consolidated in that we had started a new project on understanding coastal marine heat waves, led by Dr. Brian Donzwonski with Dauphin Island Sea Lab. Brian has hired a student who is completing his PhD to start working on developing a mapping, an assessment and a mapping of marine heat waves. That's Deb Rao. He's a PhD student at Dauphin Island and the University of Southern Alabama. And then Renata had joined this project, helping provide some coordination, but also complementing the project in understanding what the implications will be for some sectors along the coastline, but also, or the coastal environment, but also in the terrestrial portion of the coastal environment, and understanding what are the connections and the implications throughout the entire coastal zone. This project is looking at developing frameworks to identify those impacts, a big outreach plan to stakeholders, and understand what information they will need about marine heat waves and other metrics that could be derived, and collaborate with many other colleagues, including our neighboring regional associations, GCOOS and Secora, who now we are developing a pan-regional initiative and making this project a flagship of that partnership as well throughout the region. I want to show you a little bit of details of a few projects that we've added to the GCOOS main award with IUS, funded by IUS in our year 4. These projects came at this stage in the project throughout our 5-year cycle for different reasons. For example, National strategy has decided to fund us to add marine observations of sargassum, in situ observations of sargassum. That's something very new, and we're hoping that that information will help validate models. Also, we are adding some funding for RATES Inc., an organization that's becoming a GCOOS PI, for them to keep maintaining 5 new high-resolution high-frequency radars in Galveston Bay and Sabine Lake, together in Texas and Louisiana. Very important for maintaining the network operational. Another project also funded by Coastal Services of NOAA. It's a project that we're sub-awarding to the Water Institute of Louisiana, in which we are allowing them some funds for them to keep developing the storm surge model over the next year. And another project also that it's new to us, funded by the National Marine Fisheries Service and NERDA in the Gulf of Mexico. It's a new sea turtle atlas, very similar to our cetacean project. You're going to hear more about cetacean and sea turtle atlas in a few more minutes throughout the program as well. We're very excited about this project. This is a project that we're probably going to be developing for a lot in the long term for NIMS and NERDA. Some new funding, completely new funding coming to GCOOS. It's a new hurricane supplement that we have been waiting for it to be landed, and finally we did it at the end of this summer. It's a Hurricane Ian in 2002, a disaster supplement for a couple of our partners to recover their capacity and their assets. Our two Inflation Reduction Act projects funded by also through IUS and NOAA for $8.2 million in total. They were also recently approved, and we're working with Texas A&M in landing these, and many of you are involved in those projects as well, and you're going to hear more about that later in the program. There is another project that we also start working with NOAA's co-ops to fund Texas A&M Corpus Christi for them to have a postdoc to develop a workflow to develop a machine learning-based QA/QC, water level QA/QC process. This is a project that started part of one of the NOAA hackathons and IUS hackathons, and now there's the time for a postdoc to encapsulate this process, make it available to nationwide, to co-ops and also the regional associations to start being, hopefully being more effective in QA/QC and filling the gaps of data throughout water level networks. We recently submitted our last bipartisan infrastructure law project, the BIL2 project, as we call it, also with a number of partners in continue modernizing and recapitalizing our observational networks. This project, it's really our opportunity for the foreseeable future to continue modernizing and repairing some of our glider assets, high frequency radar assets, and other observations, but primarily focusing on our core observations that I mentioned to you. This project should be approved by March and start by March, and so stay tuned for that. It's going to happen. This is my last slide. This is kind of the 2025 outlook that I want to share with you. We're in the process of searching and hiring a new associate director to help me manage the regional association and work with many of you. This is pretty much needed after all this additional funding that I just showed you, that it's coming to GCOOS for the next 3 to 5 years. 2025, it's also our 20th anniversary. You're going to hear more about that today in the program, so stay tuned. This is very exciting for all of us. GCOOS also is going to start working on a new version of a strategic plan that will be effective in 2026. So this year, next year, we're continue planning and executing, finalizing a new strategic plan. I mentioned to you in March 2025, the BIL2 project for almost $2 million will start. We're, as part of our IRA projects, there is an internal GCOOS project as part of that funding that will allow us to develop a new data visualization platform that's in develop. I mean, that's just in the design phase, and it's very early in the stage as those projects just are beginning to be organized. And then finally, next year, you will hear from GCOOS more information about how to provide proposals to participate in our new funding cycle that will start in July 2026. So there is time, but next year, definitely that's coming up to you, to the whole Gulf of Mexico community, for start thinking about ideas that you would like to bring to GCOOS and be proposed. With that, I just want to thank everyone, as I said, my board, my staff, and everyone also for being here today, and I'll pass it to Kim.
Thank you, Jorge. Okay, back to the beginning. So our board of directors has been very busy. We want to give you an overview of some of our 2024 highlight activities. But before I get into that, since we have new members and new participants today, I want to remind you of our board of directors' duties and responsibilities and service to GCOOS. One of the activities that we do is we provide support for the GCOOS RA office through committees, working groups, government engagement, and by seeking funding support. We provide Jorge, our executive director, with leadership on policy guidance. We assist with coordination efforts throughout the region, and we develop and approve fiscal policy. We also establish communication with resource managers, state and federal government institutions, academic institutions, and leaders to help define ocean and coastal policy and management strategies.
Kim?
Yes.
Were you on slide 1? Or
I was.
Because it was showing slide 3 in the main part.
It's not progressing the slides.
Please moderate questions while I'm doing this in the background.
Yes, I can. Happy to, Kim. So any questions for Jorge? You can turn your cameras on, turn your mic on. You can write it in the chat. Whatever works for you. We would love to hear from you.
I have a question.
Yes, Stefan, go ahead.
For the Alabama Water Institute and University of Alabama NOAA co-ops project, will that end up having USGS coastal water stations with tidal datums and used in VDATUM development and things like that?
I don't think so, Stephen. The funding, it's very specific for developing the application that will take primarily NOAA COPS type gauge data and work in QA/QC that data and fill gaps. Basically, those are the two main aspects to it. The overall goal of that project is the coding part, but also a publication.
Oh, so it's mostly focused on the NOAA water level gauges.
It is.
Okay.
Not really to modify any of the stations, I guess, to your point, or enhance any of the stations.
Thanks, Stefan. Any other questions for Jorge? Yes, Carl, please.
I was just going to weigh in that, Stephen, that we will coordinate that specific capability being improved with co-ops, and then the entire network of IUs is working on, more community level sensors and filling in gaps between the national water level network. So what you're asking is certainly on the list of things that we want to coordinate.
Okay, thanks.
Now, are you ready to take over?
I am, and I am now seeing the slides. Is everyone, Jorge, are you seeing the slides, or Chris, are you seeing the slides? And my apologies, gang.
Yes, I see your slide in
Okay,
presentation mode.
excellent, excellent. Okay, we went through this first slide, so I'm not going to repeat that information. Jen, if you can advance it to the second slide. There we go. Okay. Our GCOOS board members participate and/or lead a number of different committees, teams, and working groups. These are some examples of some of our active teams and working groups. We have an Outreach and Education Council. The role of that is to develop, implement, and evaluate our outreach and education plan for GCOOS. We have a new Community Empowerment Task Team, which identifies and extends engagement opportunities to the broader Gulf of Mexico community. We have had for a while now an HFR operating working group at the GCOOS level and a radial operator working group at the IU's national level. We also have a Gulf of Mexico Hurricane Glider Team and National Underwater Glider User Group that's very active, and you will hear from representatives of those teams and later on in the program today. This past year, we've also had a GCOOS 20th Anniversary Planning Committee. We're very excited about that. It's our anniversary coming up, and we'll hear from them later today as well. And then at our board meeting this last week, we began discussions to develop a new Matt Howard Scholarship Task Team and also a GCOOS 5-year strategic planning committee to develop our new 5-year plan. Next slide, Jen. So one of the activities that we're engaging in this next year with our board is our Matt Howard Scholarship Review. Currently, our Matt Howard Scholarship Funds provide support to students who engage in oceanography and ocean data stewardship to attend a professional conference. I believe we've had 3 of those so far. We started that in 2020. We had 2 students in 2024, and not only were they able to attend a conference, but they also were able to engage with our board members to discuss their interests and learn about ocean science career opportunities. And we wanted to develop a new task team to expand and improve this opportunity. This team is going to review and improve the goals, the funding securement process and award amount, the student commitment and selection process, and identify additional student activities and requirements, and also improve the advertising and standardize the branding for this particular activity. So we're very excited about this. We've had some really engaged students participate in this particular activity. Next slide. And as Jorge mentioned, we're beginning our process for development of our next 5-year strategic plan. We initiated discussion of development of a review process for our 2020 to 25 strategic plan in preparation for informing development of our new 5-year plan for 2026 to 2030. We're developing a new strategic plan committee that will work to develop and implement the review process for that. We're currently in the process of identifying the lead and members for that team. One of the main goals for this activity is to conduct an assessment of the existing plan goals and objectives, our progress in implementing the previous plan and identifying gaps, challenges, lessons learned, and then new priorities and stakeholder needs. We hope to have this review completed and the information from that synthesized and the results by our spring meeting. And then this will provide information and inform the development of our new plan guided by these review results. Next slide. Our board members also have participated on a number of our hiring and award review panels. Our board of directors assist with reviewing the position descriptions, the announcements, reviewing resumes, interviewing and selecting the candidates. We've assisted with the new staff, acquiring of the new staff for the GIS developer position, the product developer position, our marine mammal biologist and data analyst. All of those positions have been filled. We're underway with assisting with the deputy director position hiring process. And we also participated in identifying, interviewing, and bringing on board the Matt Howard candidates for this past year. And we also spent quite a bit of time assisting with proposal and budget reviews, particularly for the Inflation Reduction Act proposal that was submitted, and also the BIL funding proposal that was also submitted. Next slide. And another activity that all of our board members engage in is providing representation and coordination for GCOOS in a variety of different venues and across a variety of sectors. We have a lot of engagement with a lot of the federal agencies and committees. For example, we have members participating on the IU's Federal Advisory Committee, BOEM, BESI, the U.S. Geological Survey. We have representatives for Gulf of Mexico EPA NEPs and NOAA NERS, particularly with respect to engaging them in data management in some of our new projects for the IRA funding. The National Park Service is now being engaged to get them included more in some of our activities, specifically Gulf Islands and Padre Island National Seashores, and also with Flower Gardens National Marine Sanctuary. We also have some exciting new work starting through the IRA Award in collaboration with the Pointe-a-Chen Indian Tribe through Sea Grant. We've had some very good engagement with our board members assisting with that. And as you know, through our various project PIs, we also engage with a number of academic institutions, LumCon, FUGRO, other NGOs, and we are also ramping up better collaboration with a number of our other IUS RAs. And this year we also had GCOOS representation at the SACNAS meeting, the Society for the Advancement of Chicanos, Hispanics, and Native Americans in Science. So we were very excited about that as well. Next slide. And this is just a reminder for you all, we have 17 board members. This was our 2024 group, and I just wanted to extend a huge thank you to all of them. They're very active and engaged, and we're here to help GCOOS and also help its members. So please reach out to any of us if you have questions, ideas, or just are interested in getting involved a little bit more. Thank you, and I apologize again for the technical difficulties. We have a few more minutes if anyone has any questions, thoughts, ideas, or discussion. Thank you. Carl, do you have any suggestions?
I was just coming on screen, figuring other people should do that for the discussion. And to let you know I'm ready whenever we transition to the agenda.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. I will make one more comment, and Carl, since you're already up on screen, I remember having a conversation with you that we have some very good procedures that have been developed for prioritization processes throughout the RAs. And I just want you to know that as we move forward, we will be looking to some of those other RAs and their processes to take a look at what works best for GCOOS as well. So, okay. If there are no other questions, then Carl is ready. Carl, I'll have you share your screen and we'll have you provide us with the IUS program office update. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Jen, are you driving slides for me?
I sure can, if you're ready.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, great. Give me 1 second here. Just gonna switch over.